In Matthew chapter 8, we see a leper coming to Jesus. When you look at the life of a leper, it was a life of rejection, a life where he was cast out by society. You see, lepers were counted unclean at the time of Jesus. The society would push them out of their fellowship or relationship. That means they were cast out by their very own families, rejected by their very own families. In fact, they were put out of their village or their cities. They were put out. Not just society cast them out, even religion cast them out. That means even if they wanted to go to the temple to worship, or even if they wanted to go to the synagogue or house of prayer to worship, they would be cast out. They were not permitted. They were the rejected people in society. Not just that, so we see they are cast out by society, they are cast out by their family, they are cast out by religion. And imagine what they must be feeling in themselves when he would look at his own very body, a leprous body which is eating into his own self, his own flesh. Definitely he would reject himself. He would begin to feel a thought, why not die? Dying would be better. So such a man in Matthew chapter 8 comes to Jesus. A rejected, broken man comes to Jesus. And in Matthew chapter 8 we read there, it says, when he had come down from the mountain, that means when Jesus had come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him, and behold, a leper came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. He comes to Jesus and worships Jesus and asks him, if you are willing, make me clean. But what Jesus does is amazing. He's a rejected man. He's cast out by society. Nobody has touched him. We don't know for how many years. His own family has not touched him. Why? Out of fear of being unclean themselves. And here Jesus responds to his cry, to his worship by saying, yes, I will. But what Jesus does is, let's read verse 3. Then Jesus put out his hand and touched him. Jesus touched him. Jesus touched him. A rejected man, put out by society, put out by his own family. His own people pushed him out, and Jesus touched him. Today I want to speak to you. If you are going through a time where you feel nobody is for you, if you feel that nobody can understand you, if you feel that nobody loves you, and you are being rejected by people around you, no matter how much good you do. This man must have done so much good for his family, but just because he was a leper, he was cast out. Just because he had a weakness, he was looked down on. Just because he had a failure, he was looked down on. And maybe there's some of you are watching, just because of your failure, people are just putting you out of their lives. Just because of your weakness, people have just put you out of their lives. But I want to tell you today, if you come to Jesus, and just as this leper worshipped Jesus, if you come to Jesus, he will not push you out, but he will stretch out his hand, touch you and say, I accept you. I accept you. Today I want to encourage you. If you are feeling rejected, if you feel there's no one for you, God is for you. Just as Jesus, even though he was a leper, even though he had his weakness, even though he was counted unclean, yet Jesus touched him. That's the love of God. God loves us. Even in our weakness, even in our failure, He's still willing to accept us. And not just accept us, but restore us, rebuild us, revive us. I'm speaking to you today who's watching. God is fully able to build you once again. He will not push you out. He will not reject you. But He will take you in His arms and build you once again. God bless you.